My name is Tomas Sinnamond, and I'm a tattooer at Studio Nimbus Tattoo in Seattle, Washington. Shining 3D, I'm currently using the Einstar. I used to use the Einscan Pro many years ago. Well, 3D scanning essentially replaces the need for having to spend time in person with a client designing for large-scale projects where the volume of the body or the curvature of the surface matters a lot to account for in the design. In the past, a lot of tattooers would approach the need to sort out the design on their client in person in something we would typically be referred to as freehand tattooing, which technically isn't, tattooers don't just simply start tattooing directly on the skin without any kind of drawing, so they spend a lot of time meticulously marker rendering out the design on the client's body in person before beginning the tattoo. So in a lot of cases, they are on site designing for the person. There's no lead time in getting to see what that design is going to be, and it's going to be in marker. It's not going to be a digital mock-up that simulates the appearance of the finished product. It's simply going to be the structure in a marker rendering. So you kind of put both the artist and the client in a bit of a pressure situation where we're here to sort out what you're getting for the rest of your life. Somehow, in the next several hours, we're just going to sketch on you. And then sometimes photographs get taken, and then that's replicated again later on. So the 3D process allows all of that sort of work and iteration and simulation of the eventual finished product to be done at the artist's leisure, somewhere else in a comfortable environment without the client having to stand around waiting for it or be in a pressure situation. And multiple iterations can be made pretty quickly and easily by comparison, and they look like the finished product to about 98% accuracy, I would say, in most cases. For my design process, typically, clients come in and we have about a half an hour to an hour's worth of conversation where we sort of discuss the basic concept. Once that sort of discussion is complete, I take a scan of the area that we're going to be tattooing and take that home, process that into a 3D model that can be used. In my case, I use Adobe Substance Painter for my design process. And then I design based on the conversation and the notes that we've taken from it. And I'm able to send out a 3D mock-up of the intended finished design to the client. Sometimes I can send it to them in a form where they can actually manipulate the model so they can take time to look at it from many different angles and sort of gives people a better understanding of how it's actually going to look on their body, because a lot of the limitation of a more traditional 2D design process is that the client is always looking at what it looks like from the artist's perspective or point of observation, or from the average person on the street. They're looking at it from across the room in a photograph to see what it looks like. But a lot of what influences clients' comfort with the design is how it fits their body, and a lot of that comes from actually being able to look down at it from their own natural perspective. But the tracking on the Einstar is impressively solid. I've worked with a number of other scanners, and especially the smaller ones that are more economical and affordable for artists lose their tracking very routinely and very easily, and it can lead to a lot of frustration. But obviously also potentially bad results later on when trying to process the scan into a proper mesh. If it's going to be too difficult, it'll wear people down. So that's the thing I find most impressive about it for its size is its tracking. I would absolutely recommend the Einstar and have seen other artists pick it up and find that they liked it as well.